I don't know what I am.
Good.
Good.
Because I don't really know what I am. Welcome back to the Tangent Podcast, Episode 5, the Tangent World Solutions with Problems Tangent Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Harvey. I'm your man, Steve Harvey. We got a good one for you today, folks.
We got a really bad one for you today.
It's the Nielsen National Anthem. Okay, so viewers, we're going a little bit fast today since we have less than an hour to record this thing. It's like a ticking time bomb.
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb strapped to my chest.
There's a bomb
Now.
strapped to my chest.
So,
right now.
Why don't you read the letter from Danny and we can get on with the show.
Okay. Danny says, never mind.
What?
Come on.
It's okay, we can just cut up to this point so we don't have to hear the mistake.
Danny says, thought disorder measured as random speech structure classifies negative symptoms and schizophrenia diagnosis 6 months in advance.
I know Chris.
I don't know Chris. Where are you going next year?
So what do you think? What do you think about Danny's comment this week?
Yeah.
It wasn't a yes or no.
It was a comment.
I'm beginning to think that Danny isn't real.
I'm beginning to think that, yes, I agree.
Okay, moving on. That's the end of Danny, everyone. Let's move on to some follow-up from last week. I wasn't exactly happy with how strongly I argued everything, so let's revisit that topic for a second.
Okay.
Last week I argued that foreign languages were useless, and I danced around the idea of Google Translate, but I'm here this week to be a little more definite with that argument that I think they are useless, and that's why we think they're different. They're useless because Google Translate is fine for 95% of what you want to do.
What you want to say? You mean?
Languages are just meant to facilitate communication.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect. The last 5% is just that strict grammar and the, words that not everyone's
different
gonna know.
things, different translation errors.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't learn one language perfectly.
Mm.
But I just think it's a waste of time to push for that other one.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think foreign languages are a useless skill today, and that it's a lot more useful to study something like a math or a science or
something where everything's universal.
Or in English. I mean,
or in
not like the language, but English composition or
literature,
history.
Okay.
Those things have potential. Those can't just be immediately replaced this instant, whereas foreign languages can.
Okay.
Did you have any comments on that?
No, not really.
And last time we talked about the media in the role of universal language.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk a little bit right now about the internet. Do you think do you think that had a strong impact on English becoming the universal language?
Become use it all throughout?
Or will it?
I mean, you see all these big companies that promote stuff on the internet because the internet is a wide source nowadays.
World Wide Web.
Wide.
Really wide.
Fat.
World.
So anyway.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma.
If you have anything wrong with you, see a doctor. I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you, okay? Why'd you sign up for AP Spanish then?
If you have schizophrenia, why'd you sign up for AP Spanish? So I think that a lot like companies use the internet nowadays, especially for ads and advertisement, and a lot of influence from companies, English-speaking companies, appears on the internet and eventually it spreads worldwide. So I think it does have an impact on English being a universal language.
Yeah, I think that's the big point that we're... I think that's the big point that we're driving at here. It's that these companies in the U.S. have formed discussions around things, and even things like YouTube. There are a lot of English content creators on there that are creating valuable content, and people might want to see that.
Ooh, hang on, give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'm almost positive.
Chicos, I'm almost positive. It doesn't have to be YouTube specifically. It could
Huh.
also be something like Reddit, where
Okay.
there's a lot of English discussions.
Yeah, okay,
Of course, they have other
I was just
languages.
wondering if YouTube was created by Americans, and it was.
Yes. Yes.
By-
Yes.
What was his name? Jawed Karim.
What?
Jawed Karim, co-founder.
Who's the other guy?
Steve Chen. Steve Chen.
Steve Chen.
He's actually Taiwanese.
Gotta beep that one out.
So Taiwan had some influence.
So, thanks, Taiwan.
Thank you so much, Taiwan.
Chicos, thank you so.
I don't know Chris.
Hey!
Bye!
Let's get to the topic du jour today.
DiGiorno.
So, why don't you go?
It's your turn.
The topic du
You-
jour. You.
We, us, now!
The topic this week is artificial intelligence. What? Yes.
No.
We already talked about that, didn't we?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
Bye.
Obtuse!
We talked about it in terms of jobs, but we didn't talk about it in terms of
Lifestyle.
lifestyle.
Life. Finds a way.
Is that your graduation speech? You get up on stage. Life. What is it? Life.
Life.
Oh, sorry, folks. Life.
Is it hot in here?
Is it,
Anyone else having trouble breathing?
it seems a little, the wall's getting smaller in here. Life,
Getting dizzy. I need to sit down.
finds a way. Life finds
That's
a way.
it. Okay. Oh my
Like-
god. Oh my god.
So-
Allison.
So life, wait, I forgot it.
Oh, come on, I just had it.
Your class president, everybody!
Mr.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
eh,
Yeah. That's how we started the podcast.
Absolutely.
You know?
Right.
Episode 1.
Really?
It was just us two going, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, good word. Yes, good word. Yes, good.
Artificial intelligence.
Let me paint you a picture. The Mona Lisa.
You didn't paint that.
You get it?
No.
No.
Okay.
The eyes follow you. as
Right.
You move around the room. That's crucial. Why don't you solve the puzzle here? What am I getting at?
I don't know.
Solve
We
it.
will always be watching.
What? No.
Be watched.
Okay, that was just a tangent.
That was just tangent.
This
Sine,
podcast.
cosine.
Seinfeld.
Go.
Affleck, go.
Yes.
Google.
Alfleck.
Now?
Now.
Affleck.
That was a weird noise.
Let me paint you a picture.
Do it.
The Mona Lisa. Okay, let me paint you a
Oh,
real
the eyes
picture.
follow you.
Imagine a world in which artificial intelligence was at the point where people made it self-aware, right? We already talked a little bit about whether or not that should happen.
Yeah.
But let's imagine that it has. And maybe it doesn't even have to be self-aware. It's just so smart that it is general purpose. It can pretty much live. It doesn't have to
Function
be self-aware,
by
but
itself.
it can function by itself. So in this world, the robot is designed to get job done, to be productive.
Efficiency.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
That's what robots do. So, in that world, it may create more robots by itself to get the job done. Pretty
Yeah.
soon you have a bunch of robots. What's the point of humans anymore? Like, the robots
Yeah.
are way better at humans at everything.
If robots were to function by themselves, do you think that they would agree to compromise
On what?
humans existing?
Well, that's the thing.
Because obviously if they're gonna be smart enough to almost to the point of having thoughts, then
Or even having thoughts.
yeah,
Like, whatever a thought is.
right. Would they make deals? Would they have discussions, agree on things with humans instead of being radicals and thinking, oh, this is the way it should be because we're better than them, so why keep them around?
Well, if they are just in pursuit of efficiency and getting things done, then the only situation I see that happening is if humans are getting in the way of that. Which could very well happen, because humans will want to continue to live, and they'll need resources for that. And at this point, general purpose robots, we're obviously in a moneyless society, which is, kind of weird.
Okay.
I can't even envision that, but we'd probably be in a moneyless society, and humans would need to use some of those resources that the robots were producing, in which case the humans are kind of getting in the way of progress. They're using up the resources.
It's not so much they're trying to get in the way, it's just a setback.
Yeah.
Like, you got to care for them, like robots are focusing on them.
So, if we're in the way, I don't know if they would kill us, but then we get to the point of, if they are self-aware, then we're in real trouble, because robots will recognize that they have been essentially slaves to us for however long that they've been in existence, and like a human, they might feel that that's unjust, and then they could rebel.
And then they'd seek revenge?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
So, those are the two scenarios. Let's tackle the answers to both of them are going to kind of be similar, but let's tackle the first one. Let's tackle the second one. Let me write the vocab.
Let's erase the vocab.
Let's tackle the second one. The robots are actively fighting against the humans. What do we do?
With force?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me paint
Have
you-
one big switch that turns everything off.
Well,
I mean, that's probably not likely.
yeah, but then the robots can make more robots without the switch that don't have the shut off.
I guess we just live as secondary beings. I mean, what else is there to do?
Yeah, but what if they're attacking us?
I'm not sure.
Let me paint you a picture.
The Mona Lisa.
Yeah. And what if we kept pace with the robots?
If we made humans as fast as they're making robots? Is that what you're...
What if we just had a population boom across the entire world? Like, I'm talking 50 billion people a day.
That's what it sounded like you were getting to. I'm like, all right, yeah.
All right, I'm going with you. No, cognitively. What if humans were able to keep on pace with robots and what they could do? Because right now, we're not on that track physically. Although we could be with, like, Iron Man suits, potentially.
Iron Man suits.
Iron Man suits.
I guess.
Tony Stark.
It's Avengers.
It is Mona Lisa. The eyes follow you.
It's a metaphor.
Welcome to art history.
With Mrs. Here's the AP exam.
This is the first class.
And you're taking the exam. What? I have to take down my posters, okay?
Every day and every morning.
Day and morning.
Day morning.
Day morning. Dwayne Johnson.
Day mornay.
The Mona Lisa.
I don't really know, Chris.
Hey!
Keeping on pace cognitively
Right.
and physically so that the robots aren't better than humans. Yeah?
Let's assume that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Robots
what
in-
is it? Live,
I lived.
Is it really hot in here? Can I get some water up here? I'm just...
I can't breathe. I need to sit down.
Is anyone else? Is like the ground shaking for anyone else? I lived.
Oh! No.
Let me paint you a picture. What if we could implant chips into humans' minds that could allow them to keep pace with robots? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, the question was...
¿Cuántos años tiene Shakira? And you said, yo pienso que los inmigrantes son personas y es importante que nosotros realizamos que...
Es importante que nosotros inmigrantes que es que...
Cien. I'm really comfortable talking about this.
Well, then why'd you sound afraid to be Spanish? We could put chips in people's minds. Doritos.
Yes. That's what I thought.
Sun
The minute you said
chips.
it. Reduced fat sun chips.
No, that would
The
never
Mona
work.
Lisa.
Or, and this has been a popular idea, what if we could download our consciousness to a computer and then just live life as a robot? The question was, is that still you?
Is it still
You.
her? A
Not a
human?
human, because it's not. It's obviously not a human
Okay,
anymore. It's
so-
a robot. But
Do I have awareness that I am?
you have awareness that you are alive and you think you are you. You have all of the same memories that you used to have. You can have all the same senses that you used to have. But you are not in your body. You don't have your mind. And you were transferred to something else.
Yeah,
It's essentially...
I'd say so. It's like getting an upgrade. It's just moving from a fleshy home to a sleek, computerized home.
Again, why do you put it that way? A fleshy home. So if you put sun chips in your brain, you too!
Hi.
What do you keep trying to click on your laptop?
I don't know.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Really?
I don't think it's you.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Mona Lisa.
Why?
Eyes.
Got it.
Follow you.
Yep.
Here.
Mhm.
Now.
Right.
Right.
Obtuse.
It's just a copy.
Right, but isn't it just as good as the original? If it's a copy?
It's just as good. And let's make something clear. There would really be no way to
Go
test
back?
it.
Oh.
Because the new robot that just woke up would be convinced that it was you. Because it's always been you. And it has all the memories of you. So it would be convinced that it's you. But let's say, hypothetically, that during the transfer process, it's just like copying all of the... It's a little more complicated than this, I think, but it's just copying all the data from your mind and putting it on this, and then it powers up the computer. What if those two things were kept living side by side?
What are you saying?
You have
if
you
the human
living
body were
human
to
body.
be next to the robot,
Like, you keep living,
Yeah.
but then they make a robot that has everything in your mind, and
so they make a copy of me.
a copy of you, and they put it in a robot, and then they power it up, and you are still living.
So there's just two of me.
Two of
Nothing
you-
happens to me. They just copy my information, put it in a sleek metal.
Yeah. Is that still
Machine.
you? Can you
Yeah.
exist? But you...
I'd say there'd be two of me.
You are you. I think it's a simulation of you, but it's not you.
It's you. It's your fault.
It's like if I have a dictionary on the table,
yeah.
and then I get an identical dictionary and place it next to that one, that second one is not the first one. It's like the first one.
Sure.
It's an identical copy of it, but it is not the first one. So
But-
if you have you and you copy yourself to a robot, that robot is not you. It's
right.
like you.
But if say we're still in the mind of AI, right? So wouldn't it just be better to be this other thing?
But I don't think it is you.
So you think my consciousness,
Your
wouldn't be
consciousness.
able to... Okay, if there were two of me, right? If I had myself and then there was another me and they existed side by side, you're saying that original me is not this me. Okay.
I don't think, because we don't really know what consciousness is, and I mean, I don't know if we ever will, but you're not. I don't think you're transferring the consciousness.
Well,
it's like you, the original you,
Yeah.
would die. That's like, and it's really hard to
Okay.
conceptualize what you is.
No, I
But
understand what
when you
you're
wake up
I-
the
I-
robot,
I-
it's like it thinks it's you.
Yeah,
and
I understand what you're saying.
It cannot be convinced otherwise, but it's a separate entity that is living.
Yeah, a carbon copy, right?
For the viewers.
You're not gonna tell them
You
what
get
we were
nothing.
doing.
You get nothing.
For the viewers, we were just doing excessive Allison, air quotes.
So I agree with what you're saying, how it's not me, it's not myself, because I could see the thing and I could say, no, that's not me, because I know that I am me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if we're talking about the grand scheme of things, that's probably a better version of me than I will ever be.
So you would be willing to sacrifice your own life
For the greater good of humanity?
for the greater good of
Probably.
humanity to allow something else to pretend to be you.
As
forever.
long as my memories exist and my, I don't want to say legacy because I'm not important, but as long as I'm not forgotten, maybe that's the way to put it. As long as there's still a part of me there, I think I'd be fine with it.
The reason I'm interested in this is not necessarily about the AI thing. That's an important part of it. But I'm trying to find a way to live forever.
You want to live forever?
I want to live forever.
Well, what happens when the Earth ends?
Well, then I'll die too. But
So that's not forever.
but I want to live up
You want to
until
live
that
as
point.
long as the Earth
as
will
long
live.
as universally possible.
You don't want to live past the days of the Earth?
Well, if we're on another planet, then sure.
Okay. Well,
But that could be like,
say the universe ends. You're going to live for 13
and maybe
billion years?
maybe in like 13 billion years, I'll say, you know what? It's been fun.
So you want to choose your death date
I think 100 years is too short
for a lifespan
for a lifespan.
of anything or humans?
I don't care about anything else.
Whoa.
It's
I mean, I don't care about anything else.
I mean, maybe like a pet, sure. I'd love that. I'd love for that to be able to live as long as I do.
Right.
Okay, you got me there. I'd love for my pets to be able to live with me. But like some bird out in the wild, I don't care how
Some
long
bird.
that lives.
I want that bird to live as long as I am living. Dies.
So I was exploring this as a potential possibility to make that happen. But I won't. Hey, that's the card that we put there.
There's one on the projector. There was one.
In there. I
Uh,
put one behind. I put one
I
behind.
tried to put one in the pencil sharpener.
Okay.
I think that's all of
So
them.
I was trying to explore this as a way of living forever, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that.
Like from other people's perspective, if they got a robot that looked exactly like me and had all my memories and believed it was me, then to other people it would seem like I lived forever. But I don't think that would be me, and I would have
Okay.
died. And
So you
I don't
want
care-
the satisfaction of living forever?
yeah, because if there's, I don't care if something else is living my life. That's not me.
Right.
I want to do that.
So you're selfish.
Are you not? Do you not
I'm not
want
selfish.
to live? Chicos, I lived. Is it really cold in here?
Give me some blankets! Ripping down the wallpaper.
Ripping down the curtains. So you're saying you would sacrifice yourself for the greater good of humanity?
Yeah. You're saying...
I would like to think that lots of people would, and that humanity, because I
Okay,
think this
well-
is the best solution. I think this is the best solution to unemployment, which we already talked about, and to just protecting ourselves from artificial intelligence militarily and maintaining healthy lifestyles.
Okay.
But it's not
I forgot
me.
what I was going to say.
Okay, then I'll keep talking.
No.
I'll let you think. So I think it would be great if we could somehow... I changed my mind.
About...
That is not humanity living on. That is robots living on. If we do that, artificial intelligence would have won, and they didn't even have to do anything.
Well...
Because if we all transfer ourselves to robots, and then, like, in the future, how are people going to reproduce? Who's going to have kids? They're going to
build more robots.
build more robots and then give them personalities.
Exactly.
And even if we... It's kind of...
I guess, okay.
This is going to be really cruel.
Just say it.
Even if people continue to have children
Right.
and then put them in a robot directly after birth...
They're going to kill the baby.
I didn't want to say it. That's like... There are no humans. You may as well just run 7 billion simulations of people on a computer, and it's no different.
Yes, that's a dark thought. That's a very dark thought to think that humanity will have lost to robots and there's nothing we can do about it. But life is about changing and species dying off and new things coming up and new things taking control. So, as terrible it may sound, I think it's kind of inevitable how one day humanity's not going to be on top and we're not going to rule over. But for now, we're fine. So, enjoy it while you can because you can't have all of it.
Yeah, you might have a good point there. What if we didn't have to move our consciousness? What if we go back to the, computer chip that can interface with your brain, and maybe you, stand in an Iron Man suit all day? Then we could continue living and reap the
We could still be
benefits
humans,
yeah.
and we could be able to keep up with
The thing
robots.
is, I think in the future it should not be artificial intelligence versus humans, or artificial intelligence and humans going along parallel lines. I think they should be going along the same lines. We invented these technologies to help us. Let's continue to have them help us. Let's augment ourselves with technology
Yeah.
and still keep the human aspects of ourselves to preserve what makes us human. But we are just drastically expanding the capabilities of humans.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Did you ever hear of that philosophical question? I don't remember what it's called, but it's like there's...
Did you ever hear that
Did you ever hear about that
philosophical
one?
question? I don't remember what it is, but you should know what it is. Have you heard of it? Oh yeah, that one!
I know, Chris! The premise is that there's a ship, and it is traveling along the sea. And over the course, it has to be repaired, and new boards are put on, the sails are replaced, and by the end of its voyage, every single piece of that ship has been replaced at least once.
So there's no original ship
There is no original part
from when it started.
from when it started. Okay.
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 Okay. We're
Okay.
just saying KKK.
Chicos. I found this white...
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
don't
stop you right
understand.
there. Let's not say anything we're gonna regret. Apply the same thing to a human.
Never mind, I'm not going to say.
Apply the same thing to a human. At what point do we call this ship new? Is the ship that reached the destination the same ship that set sail? And and if it's not, at what point did it change?
Well, you said when does it become new? When is the term new?
Well, do you think it's a different ship at the end, or do you think it's the same ship?
No, I think it's the same ship. I'd say so.
So apply that to humans. If we keep augmenting ourselves with these technologies, bionic limbs, a computer chip that can interface with our mind that does a lot of the calculations.
It's more parts.
Are we gonna reach a point where it's so
Where we're
different that it's not us?
Well, you could say...
You said...
You were supposed to say...
The question was...
Yo, the question was... Yo, chicos, the question was...
Oh my god. That's so scary.
Becomes a Spanish teacher.
Yo, chicos, the question was... ¿Cuántos años tiene Shakira? You said...
Freya!
Freya, oh my god. Freya, I swear to god.
In every Spanish class, there has to be Freya. There has to be a Freya. Maybe it's not her, but it's a person named Freya who says, Yo pienso que es importante que nosotros realizamos que es importante que... Sound like...
100.
100.
Yo, 100.
Yes. Anyway, what were we talking about? Shipbuilding new?
Shipbuilding. Pennsylvania Shipbuilding Services.
You buy a new ship.
You buy a new ship, and then all of a sudden, your ship gets attacked by a
School of Maine lobsters.
school of Maine lobsters.
So you go to your
So you
shipbuilding
go to
company.
your shipbuilding company. And then you find out...
That your company makes ships out of paper. Why would you build ships out of paper? Newsflash, shipbuilding companies. These ships were meant to take a beating. And this is the line that you had trouble with. This was the one that you messed up like 20 times on. How am I supposed to sail out of the hundreds of inlets and rivers if my ship falls apart like a tea in a pot of crumpets?
No.
A crumpet in a pot of tea.
If my ship falls apart as easily as a crumpet in a pot of tea.
I guess their solution is just to have you buy a new ship. Dun, 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 dun. So hot in here!
Can I get some blankets?
It's so hot. Can I have blankets?
She goes, I really need blankets.
It's 120 degrees.
Is anyone else feeling like that? Because I lived... And now I'm dead.
What is it?
So we're talking about shipbuilding.
With religious ow. Who was that supposed to be?
My mom. I can't do a good impression of her laugh.
Okay. Nya. Ha ha ha.
And chickies.
Chicky.
Chickens. Do you get it?
Shipbuilding.
Chicos, do you get it?
She goes, do you shipbuild?
Because I do. Why don't you? If you didn't sign up for AP Spanish, then why are you taking calculus?
What? If you didn't sign up for AP Spanish, then why are you taking calculus?
It's so hot in here. So shipbuilding.
No. Get on with it. Okay.
Get on the bus. Da, 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 da. Hop on the bus. Da, da, da. Hop on the bus. Da, 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 da. Hop on the bus. Da, da, da.
Have you seen the video of the Magic School Bus? It's like the theme song, and do you remember in the theme song, the bus jumps up and then transforms into a submarine and then dives in the water?
Yeah.
Someone made this edit when the bus jumps up and then it goes in the water, and it cuts to a news story about a bus that drowned like several kids in the lake.
Hop on the Magic School Bus.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I should find it. Okay, keep talking. Say something. Talk!
Oh. So, if you want to end up in a good position in your life, you should open a bank account at Middlesex Savings Bank. across all 14 million Middlesex counties, towns, countries, nations, and planets. We provide great customer service, mediocre customer service, and the pens are not linked and chained to the desks.
What?
So sign up today for your account at Middlesex Savings Bank, your neighborhood savings bank. Middlesex Savings Bank. Drop by at Middlesex Savings Bank to come in for Middlesex Savings Bank and make your first deposit at your new Middlesex Savings Bank account at Middlesex Savings Bank.
Okay, I don't know if I can find it.
You mean I just said all of that for nothing?
Maybe.
To order, call 877-129-6604. That's 877-129-6604. One more time, 877-129-6604. Call now. Hi, Billy Mays here for Big City Sliders.
For sliders. The burgers.
Hi, Billy Mays here for the Jupiter Jack.
Yeah, I don't know if I can find it.
Yeah. So shipbuilding.
Alright, we'll save that for another time.
So shipbuilding.
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 Talking about how the old ship starts off its journey, and then once it reaches the end, it's... Is it a new ship? Is it an old... Is it still the old ship?
Is it an old ship? Is it a
Is
new
it a
ship?
contemporary ship?
Is it
Futuristic ship?
AP Art History?
1960s ship?
Use the exam.
Relating that to humans, I think that it would still be humans, because if we're making these decisions to high score
For the viewer, we're just making fun of
for the viewer.
for Danny. We're just making fun of the hand expressions.
So lost it again.
High score. Low score.
A low score. I beat my low score.
Chicos, that really sucked.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway.
Okay,
well,
talking about shipbuilding.
I think
that if we're making these decisions to upgrade ourselves, then we're still the same person that we were before.
I think, in my opinion, it is not until we replace the brain
Where we are no longer
us. And that raises the question of whether or not we will have certain brain augmentations too. Because, well, you know, you can get a bionic finger, or a bionic pinky toe,
or bionicles,
or bifocals, and those are replacing individual
Did
parts.
you ever play with bionicles?
I don't know what that is. Did you ever play with bifocals? Actually, I did have some of those.
Yeah, I had like 2 of them, and then I lost like all the pieces to them. Anyway, moving on.
Because I lost all of the pieces to my bionicles.
You need to find them.
And my tire's deflating. Rising sea levels. That was good.
That was pretty good.
That was good. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That was trash.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
I wonder if we could replace, say, the hippocampus with a bionic hippocampus.
I wonder if we can replace a hippo.
You know?
Moving on.
And then at what point would you... I don't know if anybody can answer this, but at what point would you lose that consciousness?
Maybe
Or
Mr.
if
Sullivan.
you did it in pieces, if you did the brain in
If
pieces...
you replace the pieces of the brain, like order of importance, like you replace like less important parts first, and then slowly upgraded.
Or really, and this is kind of a really trippy thought, but...
I've never heard you use that word.
Dan. Oh my god. Oh.
Take the solo! I wasn't going to say it. Not at that volume.
So this is really trippy.
This is really mappy.
I'm really tripping.
Chicos, I'm tripping.
Chicos, I'm
Catch
happy.
me.
If you replaced each part of the brain individually,
Yeah.
maybe even neuron by neuron, but that would take like millennia. But if you replaced segments of the brain individually and eventually replaced the whole thing, would doing it slowly retain consciousness? Because I'm not really sure that consciousness is contained within any one part of the brain.
No, I think it's everything together.
It's just,
a thing.
it's kind of like an idea. So if you just replace the hippocampus, then the consciousness, starts using that, and then you start using this other thing. Although then we're getting back into the, oh my god, I was going to say, then we're getting back into the thing where it's all technological and it's really just a simulation. But assuming the consciousness thing could work, that's exactly what we want, because then you could live forever.
Yeah.
So the answer here is that we need to find out what consciousness is.
And
since this is the World Solutions with Tangents and Problems podcast, we are going to do so today.
right now.
Go.
Thought disorder measured as random speech structure classifies negative symptoms of schizophrenia diagnosis 6 months in advance. What say you?
I like it. Moving on. Consciousness is...
Is it a belief?
No, I don't think it's a belief. I think it's an actual thing. How do you define consciousness, though?
Thinking, not really thinking, but kind of having this program of I exist, this is life, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But you never say it. I just said it to myself.
I exist, this is life, this is who I am. You have just become conscious.
No!
Is it not in here, Tigos? I agree. I think that's a good definition. It's knowing, it's understanding that you exist.
But not really.
Not
You
necessarily
don't say it to yourself. You
Yeah.
don't say, oh, I know this. Oh, I don't know this. I don't know who I am.
It's not just something you can say. A robot could say, I know that I exist. It's
Yeah.
more like being
Instinct,
able to...
maybe.
It's instinct. It's understanding that you exist, and that's all I want to say.
Okay.
So, if consciousness is the understanding that you exist, and we both think that it's kind of just all around the brain,
Do we replicate the brain in going back to like replacing a human with like a better version of that human, but as a robot? Do we create a perfect copy of the brain? Is there a way to do that? So that way the robot can have consciousness, and that way that individual, while may not be the original, will still be able to live forever.
why would they be able to live forever?
No, just as a robot.
Oh. Yeah, but that's not you.
So is there a way to take consciousness from our brain and move it to
Okay.
another thing?
So, here's our solution for the podcast. That's the optimal solution. If you can take the consciousness and put it in a robot directly, that's what we should do. Because that'll solve unemployment, that'll solve immortality, and that'll...
we won't feel inferior, and
Yeah.
we'll still be human race.
It'll keep humans, even though we're still robots, but...
We're just advancing.
We're just advancing. I think that's fine. And I think all of the benefits of it really justify doing it. Assuming we can't do that, then I think the second best option would be to at least try the thing that I suggested, where you replace it one at a time, and maybe that works. I don't really know why it would
if
work.
that doesn't work,
it
then
just feels a little bit better.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, well, we're screwed.
We put a chip in our brains, and then we wear Iron Man suits for the rest of our lives and pretend to fit in. And if that doesn't work, then I don't know.
I think we put that one to bed.
To sleep.
Before we go, I have something to complain about.
Uh-huh.
But we'll do that later. We're going to do that now.
Exactly.
So, as you know,
Right.
I recently purchased some tickets on StubHub.
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 hub of stubs.
to see Wynton Marsalis and the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra.
For
I wasn't going to say his name.
nobody.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. StubHub gave me an order confirmation, but they didn't give me a tracking number for the tickets, right? All they told me was the tickets will arrive by Tuesday, May 29th.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. So I waited all of yesterday, and
For the tickets.
nothing. The most annoying thing is that StubHub was trying to be trendy and trying to be all personal and cute to the customer, and in the little field where they're supposed to give you an update on what they're doing with the tickets, it just says, "We're on it!" Exclamation mark.
Doesn't give you anything else.
Does that mean the tickets are with the seller? Does that mean
That doesn't give you
StubHub is
any
handling the
information.
tickets? Are they in transit? Are they out for delivery? Have they been shipped? Are they delivered
Are they at your house?
to somebody's house, even not even mine? That could mean any of those things.
Are we working on maybe accepting your order? Yeah. It's kind of annoying.
So I have to call them.
And you're gonna yell.
I will be irate.
You will be
Hurricane Irene.
Irene. Hurricane Sandy.
Come on, Eileen.
Come on, Aline.
Come on, Eileen.
Running a race. Let's go.
She's not playing an instrument.
You just have this innate habit. So,
Is anyone else lightheaded in here?
I need blankets.
Give me this wallpaper.
Curtains. Bending the metal. That's not the noise that metal makes. Your class president.
All right. Moving right along. Allison. Allison. Allison.
Come on, Eileen.
Allison.
What are you doing? Allison, get a hold of yourself.
You've got 256 more Allisons to go.
Suck it up. Okay. She goes, I'm not gonna breathe.
Yo, where are we? Yo, where are we right now?
Wakanda.
Hold on. I'm getting a message on my computer that says my disk space is critically low. So I need to delete something right now
Okay.
to save the fate of this podcast.
Delete.
There, I just did it.
Okay.
I cleared up 2 gigabytes of space.
What'd you delete?
A video of Jazz Night.
Oh.
That sucks.
If you or a loved one is diagnosed with anything, that sucks. Go see a doctor. You shouldn't have signed up for AB Spanish.
And if you didn't sign up for AP Spanish, then why'd you sign up for calculus? Huh?
Answer that!
Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, Spanish
With
4, Spanish
me!
5.
Actually, she doesn't teach Spanish 5. It should just go 1, 2, 3, 4 AB Spanish.
Well, we did that in under an hour.
That was less than an hour?
Yeah, it's 53 minutes on the clock here.
Oof. Okay.
What's the title of this episode?
I don't know.
Why is it so hot in here?
What did we talk about?
We talked about artificial intelligence and consciousness and transferring it to a robot, and robots are taking over the world. Robots have taken over the Navy!
Oh, good!
And we also talked about StubHub and tickets, and we talked a little bit about foreign languages at the beginning. And Danny, and what did he suggest? What did we talk about? Oh, we talked about a psychology concept.
Thought disorder measured as random speech structure classifies
Yeah,
negative symptoms and schizophrenia diagnosis 6 months in advance.
If you were a loved one.
That That's it. If you are a loved one, is
Call 877-129-6604. Danny's gonna call that number.
Danny should.
So what should it be called? What do you
I don't
like?
know.
I like
I always come up with the titles.
Robots Have Taken Over the Navy. Or you just call it Not the Navy. Or is anyone else hot in here?
Something about reduced fat sun chips.
Chicos, I have reduced fat sun chips in my brain.
Okay, anything else?
Chicos, why is it so
Life.
Life is just a bag of sun chips.
Life is a highway.
I lived in a bag of sun chips. Or we could just call it reduced fat sun chips.
Does it need to relate to the topic that we
No.
talked about? Okay.
I mean, it's to relate to something that we said in the episode.
Reduced fat sun chips.
Okay, I like it.
Life is.
Life is a sun chip.
What an awful song.
I know, I'm not a good singer anyway.